Hello, everyone. It's another Monday, and this is Dante Suave and Mr. J, and we are starting off with a super juicy story about Brandon Sorsby and the NCAA and what happens when potentially money starts talking more than money starts talking over morality.
hmm This all broke today. It started breaking around. I want to say at first notification I got was from Chef Shefty around 10 o'clock this morning, and then it's kind of snowballed with the reaction to it. So if you did not know, Brandon Sorsby, former UC quarterback and now current Texas Tech quarterback, who had been suspended and ruled ineligible to play in the NCAA and had lost his appeals with the NCAA due to his gambling on teams that he was playing on and on other sports during his college career, was suddenly granted an injunction today by a Lubbock, Texas judge, allowing him to be eligible to play for Texas Tech this season immediately. Um, the backlash has been swift from everybody from the NCAA with their comment, and I'm pulling up their comment now from their to rumblings that there are some ADs in the Big 12 alone that are saying that they do not want to play Texas Tech due to this whole situation that's in there for it. So currently, right now on ESPN, the ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips told ESPN the ruling represents a horrendous pattern that is eroding the integrity of our process. A Big 12 AD told ESPN that they are discussing and added, we've officially lost our soul. TCU coach Sonny Dykes told ESPN, how is anyone ever going to trust the outcome of a game again for it? Georgia's athletic director forbid his school's teams and a memo to staff from playing Texas Tech, as per the document obtained by ESPN. And a fellow athletic director from the SEC, Florida, Scott Strickland, told ESPN he was stunned, even recalling Major League Baseball's 1919 Black Sox scandal when 8 players from the White Sox took bribes to lose the World Series to the Cincinnati Reds. TCU athletic director Mike Buddy and Kansas State athletic director Gene Taylor both told ESPN there has been informal chatter in the league about schools not playing Texas Tech this year. Now, here's the caveat that I found out just before I got here. UC's homecoming game is against Texas Tech.
Of course it is.
Let that one sink in.
Of course it is.
So the Big 12 athletic directors are set to have a conference call Tuesday with Commissioner Brett Yormark, according to sources. And in a statement made to ESPN, Yormark confirmed meetings will occur this week. It's unknown how much purview the league would have, as the judge's ruling is law. The ramifications of today's ruling are significant and could have broad impacts across college athletics, creating great concern amongst our membership, Yormark told ESPN. I've been consulting with our key stakeholders and have scheduled meetings with our conference ADs and executive board this week. We are also in touch with NCAA President Charlie Baker and anticipate the NCAA to appeal the order in the next 24 to 48 hours. We will continue to monitor and evaluate the situation. Taylor said that there have been side comments about not playing Texas Tech in Big 12 meetings by a few athletic directors, but acknowledged that it might not be an option. Taylor didn't hold back in his opinion, calling it a sad day for not only college athletics, but college sports in general. I give him credit for admitting and seeking help for his addiction, but to put him back in a high profile, stressful role with that type of an issue is not helping him. But I am not an addiction professional, so what do I know? It has been so there's been scrambling. I'm trying to see if I can find the uh da, da, da. Uh, this is more about separate ones that was separate people that were talking in there. It's pretty much now it college football has already had an integrity issue when it came to NILs. College sports have already had an integrity issue, and we've seen it in numerous instances now.
Mhm.
We've seen it with the NILs and how outrageous the market has become for the NILs. We saw it with players who have been professional coming back and playing in college sports from that. We just saw another caveat, which I don't know if you've seen this that happened yesterday or today, but the United States lost the under 18 FIBA World Basketball Championship for the first time ever to Canada yesterday. So you have to start thinking about that, how the NIL and high schools and everything is starting to affect the quality of play that's coming out for our national teams going up there, where Canada doesn't have an NIL. They have people playing for the love of the game. Uh-oh, your eyes just got big. But it's all, with everything that's going on with all of this that's in there for it. You're seeing the disintegration of amateurism, and then you have somebody that we live in a city to where Pete Rose bet on his team to win games, and he bet on baseball, got a lifetime ban that got rescinded when he died. You got a college football player that's underage that ain't supposed to be gambling in the first place, that was gambling and making bets on his team while he was on the bench and other sports. He gets caught about it, goes to rehab, and you say, oh, that's okay. Everybody else is telling him, nope, the rules are the rules. The rules is the standard. And then it takes one judge who knows, you know me, I don't care. Who knows how much athletic booster money got slid into his pocket or into his reelection fund,
Mhm.
to sit there and say, hey, you know what? I don't see nothing wrong when every single dot that has been placed in front of us from this thing. We were just talking a couple of weeks ago that UC might be in trouble if they knew about it.
Yeah.
But now basically you're making it to where, oh, he was just being a kid gambling and creating an addiction for that. It's not that big of a deal. Slap on the wrist. He can go back out there and go play football. Go Texas Tech.
Mhm.
So now what? So what do you do? What now? All this talk that's been going on about the SEC and the Big Ten breaking off and making their own league. The NCAA, and that's why I'm mad that I can't find the statement for it. The NCAA statement was like they want Congress to get involved now to regulate it, because that's the only way, with all these different caveats in there now, that's the only way that it's going to be able to get in there. But it's not going to matter to get Congress involved if Congress is the sum of the same backers that might have been putting the money in the judge's pocket in order to get it done.
Hello. Hello.
So it's not, so you're asking for help from somebody that's already might have steered the ship into that lane. So now what? We have created a monster, all for the sake of adhering to the vices that we have. And I hate to say it like that, because it's now to a point to where the gambling vice that came in there, once they saw anything that they see that could be a lucrative vice, they let it go. Gambling was always one to where we would sit up there, we would be chomping at the bit to go to Vegas, because we was like, shoot, we could go sit, watch the games, gamble on the games freely, because it was just in Vegas. Now I can do it from a phone. And in his case, he was doing it before it became legal across a whole bunch of state lines and stuff. How? I don't know. So it's like, I I hope they appeal and the injunction gets revoked. I really hope that the judge gets investigated, because they ain't released what the judge's name was. And I really want to see what his background is. Because if there's anything to pertain to him or a family member going to Texas Tech, he should excuse himself. But they're gonna hold that information.
Yeah.
So it's I feel bad I feel bad for the players that's doing it on the up and up, that's in the midst of all this mess because of one person's they fault.
Uh-huh.
But at certain point, the adults have to start holding the children accountable and hold themselves accountable. And they're
Mhm.
not going to do it as long as it's profitable.
Mhm.
And that's what, but see, here's the thing. And that's why it's going to be interesting because you might see the Big 12 implode. Realistically, you might see the Big 12 implode because if you got certain people with certain moral values that's saying, no, the integrity of it is gone. I can't sit there. Every single play that Sorsby does is going to be microscoped to a T for this whole season. Anything that he does wrong, they're gonna sit there and say, "Well, was he trying to throw the game?" Anything he does right, well, why didn't he do this in the previous game where he had that same look? Before then, was he trying to throw that game? It's always gonna be something. So now
Mhm.
it's about to be to a point to where for the teams involved, like I said, UC could possibly lose their homecoming game. It's short notice. Are you going to swap them out with another Big 12 team? What can you do?
Yep.
But it's this is crazy. I thought I was losing it when I saw. I was like, man, I'm out working in the shop. It's already hot. I'm thinking I got delirious. I was like, wait a minute, that didn't say Sorsby Sorsby granted an injunction, did it? Then I look.
Mhm.
Now I take Shefty back. I was like, dude, are you smoking? He was like, nah, I ain't smoking. This is real. So it's wow.
At the end of the day, here's the thing. As much as mad as the NCAA is, I want to know what their reaction is outside of interview. And the reason why I say that is this. Again, people wanted them to relinquish a lot of their power and their rules. They were too strict. They weren't
Mhm.
they weren't allowing things.
Yeah,
Everybody was getting nailed.
yeah,
Everybody was getting nailed that was supposed to get nailed. Although some people might argue that it seemed a little racist because mostly our people were getting hit. Never mind the fact that had they not been doing what they were doing, it would have lowered the numbers. But I digress.
right.
It, now and every time you turn around, you knew the boosters were going to be a problem. You
Yeah,
knew that even in this new age of something, that the boosters were gonna be a problem because now they don't have to hide it.
that
Now they
part.
don't have to hide it. So now if you don't have to hide it, now anything can literally go. They were doing stuff like this even when it was completely and utterly and clearly illegal.
Hmm.
And they knew that if they got caught, the NCAA was going to hit them hard. They were doing it then.
Yeah, they were.
So I'm not shocked. And to all the people that screamed, again, I'm not saying that the kids shouldn't have been paid, but I do think that it should have been more like the XFL. There should have been a dollar cap on it.
Hmm.
There should have been a dollar cap on it. And if you find out that people was getting any more than that, and I guarantee you, you're going to have some Maurice Clarets that's going to shoot themselves in the foot and tell on themselves.
Oh yeah, you gonna have that no matter what.
You going to have that no matter what. And they were going to tell on themselves. And as usual, when you tell on yourself, don't nobody know nothing. The
And
lowest person on the totem pole is the one that's going to get hit.
hmm
The one with the least amount of money and the more to lose is the one that's gonna be, oh yeah, it was him. Get him. Meanwhile, the rest of them sitting over there like, whew, that was close.
or or in this day and age, you have to look at it from this standpoint. look, take the fall. We got you. You'll do the time. When you come out, you set for life. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. Okay.
As long as
Falling on the sword.
as long as that's legit, because what they can also do is tell them to do that and then leave them high and dry. And then
Oh
what you
yeah.
go and then what you gonna do? You can't prove it.
Right.
You can't prove the conversation went down.
No.
You can't take them to court. You
But
can't prove nothing.
you ain't got the money to take them to court.
Right. You ain't got the money to take them to court. You 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna be smart enough to record the conversation. And it so like I said, they could also do that. Like, oh yeah, man, we got you. Don't worry about it. It's
Mm-hmm.
no. Yeah. Go ahead. It came out. Yeah, we got you. We got you. We got you.
Dude, you good. You good. You straight. You all right. Ain't nobody gonna
Ooh,
mess.
we could do that story.
Uh-oh, he's finding stuff.
Yeah. One of the stories I found that kind of that you saw made me react was apparently the songwriter for Dua Lipa and Britney Spears got stabbed to death.
Yes.
Um,
In England on Friday night.
yeah, so that was yeah. Um, yeah, that's why my face, I was like, dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
they got
So
him. It was I saw the blip and then I meant to reach out to my brother because I think my brother might have worked with him before
mhm.
just to see because it was an attack. It seems like with the he because he a lot of people don't know he worked with her in her first album heavily too. So he's had some ties in the game for a while.
Gotcha. So so yeah, I'm not I love this story and was down to talk about this story because it was going to give us a lot
It's not,
of
yeah, it's not over with though. That's the big thing. It's not done
oh
yet.
no. Oh no. Oh yeah, I know. And it's and the question is how is it going to play out? And don't be shocked at anything. I think that's the biggest thing that gets me is the level of shock that people have, the shock and awe. It's like, why are you shocked and awe? There are people with money involved in this. What are we doing? There are people with this should be an understood situation. This is why, unfortunately, if you have a lot of money, people look at you some kind of way. It's
Yep.
unfair if you're not that kind of person, but at the same time, unfortunately, you want to be with the haves, you gonna get the haves kind of problems. That's why they say more money, more problems.
Mm-hmm.
You will be judged for the company you keep, and that includes if you got a lot of money. And so they gonna look at you like they look like they look at all, unless you can prove consistently to a lot of people that you are not that dude. So you are not that dude, you are not that lady, you are not those people. Hey, David Fulcher. Um,
Oh yeah, that was another one that popped up that was an interesting conversation I had. Talking
oh,
they were talking about the Bengals with the Ring of Honor because of how old a lot of the players that had been already eligible for it was getting
yeah.
to just all of a sudden just do like one big large Ring of Honor ceremony to get them all in. And it kind of made me sad when I thought about it because a lot of the heroes from the 88 squad and back
Are
are
dead.
now over the age of 60. So
Oh,
it's like that. So it's like, do you want you ran into the issue where like Bob Trumpy is not in the Ring of Honor. He just passed away. You
right.
don't have I think who was it? It wasn't Isaac Curtis. I forgot who it was that went in. And it was right after they had passed away. You don't want to not
Hmm.
not recognize them before they pass away. But this whole it's only like four of them that can go in, like the regular Hall of Fame is for it. Go ahead and fill the ring. If you know, there should be nobody that was a superstar from the 81 and the 88 team that should not be in that Ring of Honor in some way, shape, or form. If anything, put the whole SWAT team in there as one group that went into the Ring of Honor, because that
Yeah,
whole secondary back there was nasty during that time frame.
yeah. From the looks of it, it says all photos. Leon Hall, AJ Green, David Fulcher, Carlos Dunlap, Chris Collinsworth, James Brooks, Jim Breach, Geno Atkins, and then I don't see any more people when it comes to that specific conversation when it comes to the Bengals.
Because what's happening now is that them teams from the 2000s that was with Chad Johnson and all them, their players are becoming eligible to get in there, and recent history is going to start weighing more on them to get in there than the people that paved the way before them. I'm not saying Jeff Blake's going to go in there, folks, or definitely not Kenny Pickett, but let's get some people. Some people do deserve to be in that Ring of Honor. Hmm.
Y'all mind y'all business. Before he mess around and get over there and get y'all the business.
Oh, and rest in peace, Stacey King.
Yes, yes, I saw that and I was scrolling and I saw it and I was lightweight stunned, but I was in the middle of trying to do some stuff. Yeah, yeah, we
To
can
hear the circumstances that's starting to leak out that he had fell in his home, and because he was alone, nobody was there to help him,
uh
and that's how he passed away.
uh
It's like that. He just had a clip where he was talking about how he sounded like us when we talk about it, like this doesn't feel like it's a job or it's work. This is just us bantering back and forth. He was on a podcast talking about when he was doing the broadcast for the Bulls. It was just like
Who you got tonight, bro?
Knicks. I already said Knicks in 6.
Knicks and 6.
Yeah, I didn't expect for them to be up 2-0.
Man.
But they doing everything I thought they could. But but yeah, but Stacey King with that one, he had just sat there and said that he had that it didn't feel like work when he would do his podcast or when he was doing his shows or doing the broadcast with the Bulls or anything else like that. And that I think that episode just aired like 3 weeks ago. So to go from 3 weeks from you airing and talking about the joy of everything that you're doing in there to being gone is was kind of a gut punch yesterday, because I'm looking at the phone in this day and age like, man, this can't be true.
right.
And then seeing once I saw the Bulls release a statement, I think the Bulls released a statement before TMZ did, and I was like, damn, that means it's definitely got to be true.
Right.
And it was crazy because when it was announced,
Uh-huh.
ESPN2 had, for the lead up for their college baseball yesterday,
Hmm.
they was replaying The Last Dance. And they replayed the first 3 episodes of The Last Dance. And I was watching it while I was getting ready because I had been up watching racing beforehand. Oh, last thing before we get rolling to the next thing.
Yeah.
I hate culture vultures.
Okay. Who we talking about?
My reason for getting back into racing is dating the world's biggest culture vulture. Lewis Hamilton is dating Kim Kardashian. Now, this is why I say culture vulture, okay?
Hmm.
And hold on. The views expressed by Mr. J on the United World of Sports or any other social media platform is his and his alone. Please do not take it on Dante Suave, United World of Sports, Joy Enterprises, or any other said LLCs and attached and DBAs, so forth and so forth. 2026. This heifer has not, they are, I think this is race 9, right?
Hmm.
And remind you, Formula One goes all around the world. What's the first race that she shows up to support her man? Monaco, the richest country that they race in per capita. where the entire scene of the background is yachts. When the winner crosses the finish line, all the yachts blow their horns. And what does she proceed to do? Not only with her, but with OJ Simpson's daughter, her sister, Chloe in tow. When Sky Sports, Martin Brundle goes through before the race, right before the race, all the stars are on the grid. They're talking to each other, everything else before they do the national anthem of the country, and they introduce the drivers and everything else. And he walks up to her and says, "Hey, how's it going?" Try to interview her for British television. Because Sky Sports is the chief broadcaster for all Formula One throughout the world. And what does she sit there and turn around and do? She ignores him. And it's live television. And she ignores him. And then motions to Chloe and them like, yeah, come on, to walk away.
Wasn't there for him. He wasn't there for that.
No, she wasn't here. She was there. She was there for her man.
Yep.
And I get that. But this is where the Kim Kardashian versus the Taylor Swift mentality comes into play. When Travis Kelce, no matter where Travis Kelce goes, you were seeing Taylor to the point to where it was becoming annoying.
Right.
But at least she was there supporting her man. You've been seen in footage out with him to this point. You could have went to Canada and seen him race right up the road. You went to the richest location
And
and then acted bougie.
Okay, I see part of your point, but here's the thing. The one thing that I will get at NFL, they show her on camera. Don't nobody try to walk up to her and talk to her. And I'm glad of that because
but
I could because unless she is going to start dropping some knowledge about football, no offense to Taylor Swift, no offense to the Swifties, but okay, his girl is there to watch him play. Move on back to the game. I want to hear more about the game and what Travis Kelce is doing during the game than I could care less about his girl showing up. So I see your point. I thumbs up your point that she still should have, even if she was like, I'm not here, I don't want the spotlight on me.
I want the spotlight on Lewis.
I want the spotlight on him. Don't be coming up to me trying to get your quick 15 seconds of fame, catching me on camera in an interview. I'm here for my man, and that's it. Treat me. I don't care if you literally have to act as if I'm not here, because I'm gonna act as if you're not here, and that's essentially what she kind of did. Now it comes off as why you stuck up heifer, but at the same time, the race is about who? It's not about her. It's about him.
No. And I get that.
And so while I will say that maybe she should have kind of came up with a way that didn't make it come off like she was being a complete douche. At the same time, I do understand where she might have been coming from of, yeah, this ain't about me. Why are you trying to make this about me?
Now, the only reason why I'm going to disagree with you on that is I'm an avid fan. Sundays, if it's a Sunday and like this weekend alone, with them being in Monaco, their start times for their qualifying and everything else was like 7-8 o'clock in the morning. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was up watching it. Even though it's a tape delay, I like to watch it live. And plus with Apple TV, you can't get the Sky, you get the American feed, you don't get the Sky Sports, the regular feed like they used to do on ESPN since it moved over to Apple TV. So when I tell you every major star, like Jack Black, Chris Pratt, Dua Lipa, anybody that's on that grid when he's walking through there, because it's so known that that's what he does at those races, that they turn around, they'll say, hey, how's it going? Everything else, chat with him for a little bit and let him keep on going, because he never stays for a long conversation. He might ask you a question, keep moving.
Yeah.
That show where you didn't understand the dynamic of where you was at. And this is not the first time she's been at these races, because she's been at Miami. She's been at Vegas there with it, but she wasn't with him.
Right.
So they'll cut to the camera and show that she's there, but there's a difference between cutting to the camera and she's in the crowd, or she's in like the stands that's right by the paddocks and stuff like that, or she might be standing inside one of the paddocks and you actually on the grid. If you're on the grid during the grid walk, you are fair game. It's been like that for decades. And I can almost guarantee you that her stepdaddy, her stepdaddy has been on that grid walk, be it at Indianapolis, at Austin, whatever else, and sat there and got interviewed off of there. So it's not like she didn't know. And if she did know, shame on her for not knowing when you're dating the most famous racer in the world right now.
Okay. Fair point. Fair point. I can see that.
And hence my whole thing of culture vulture, because you've actually been with probably one of the greatest musical minds in the world, right, wrong, or indifferent, no matter his psychoticness. Kanye's been one of the greatest in the 21st century. He's been one of the greatest musical minds.
Yep. Yeah.
So
that's fair.
being with him, now you're dating the most generational, the biggest generational talent to come in Formula One, besides the 19-year-old that's kicking everybody's ass now. In 25 years since Michael Schumacher, now you're dating him. And you know what you're doing because they got pictures of you in a car drifting with him while he's shooting a commercial and you in the passenger seat. So you know what you're doing, but you don't know it, but in certain instances you playing dumb or you are dumb.
Yeah, she just wasn't on it that day. It's like, nope, not about me. Keep it moving.
She barely wanted to kiss him after the race. It was fun. They showed an overhead clip of him walking up to her, and he went to go kiss her. She trying to turn her head like, oh my God, you're gonna mess up my makeup. I'm like, you know what, Lewis, I love you, but you picked the wrong hoe. All right, next.
All right. Okay. So you know how I love to do these. Now this one, the more I think about it, they still made it difficult. It's another one of them cut one players.
Oh God.
Here are the players though.
Okay.
Jokic, Dwight Howard, Embiid, Anthony Davis.
God damn it.
I thought it was easy at first too, but then I thought about it. I went, wait, hold on. This is not as easy. Because as long as the answer is not
Embiid.
Oh,
It's Embiid.
yeah. Yeah.
And the only reason why it's Embiid is because you know what? I'm gonna say it's Embiid, but I wouldn't be mad if it was Davis.
Right. That's exactly where I was at. I was like, the one time Dwight Howard can be happy that he should be safe with everybody.
Because no matter what, okay, let's be real. Jokic is not a defensive player of the year candidate. The other three were.
Right.
Scoring wise,
none of them were touching Jokic.
None of them was touching Jokic, but if you rank them scoring wise when they were healthy,
yeah,
AD would be the lesser one. with it to be fair. So then you have to come down to you got Mr. Glass, Mr. Helpless, Mr. Always in the Sun, and then and then Frumpy Dumpy, which is Jokic.
Right.
So Frumpy Dumpy never hurt for real. He get hurt and then he bounce back. He all right.
Right.
Mr. Glass is always hurt. He's never reached his full potential. But Mr. Something's always wrong is the same way.
Yeah.
So the only reason why I would say Embiid, I would say Embiid over Davis is because Davis has had more opportunities where he's been available than Embiid. But the only reason why you can flip flop it is when Embiid has been healthy and been there. He's been an MVP candidate. Davis has never been in an MVP race. So you know what? Flip it. It's Davis. I would get rid of Davis because if I could find a way to inject something into Embiid to make him
Go ahead. I'm sorry. That was just funny that you yeah.
if I could inject something into Embiid to make him healthy for at least 65 games, they could be a 1 or 2 seed. And then re-inject him for the playoffs. Just to make it worthwhile. You can't stick a needle in Davis. He might break the needle and break his leg. It's that bad.
Wow.
I've never when I saw the memes of him in Samuel L. Jackson's outfit from Glass, I said perfect.
Okay. All right. So here's another one. I would pick Embiid for the simple fact that throughout the one thing I could give Davis is that at least I could have him like most of the season, most of the time. Not all of the season, but at least most of the season over his career, as opposed to Embiid. And what Embiid has done. So other than that, Dwight Howard was safe. Jokic obviously safe. Yeah. That's where I'm at with that one. Now I got another one. Game 7, last time out. Who draws to play? Phil Jackson, Pop, the crap, my bad. I forgot his name. Coach for the Heat. Yeah, Smokestra. And Kerr, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers. I know who is definitely not getting the last play.
Doc Rivers ain't getting the last play.
Right. It's like okay, yeah, he's automatically out. Oh, for me. So not even an option. So who you got?
Pop.
I thought Pop, but then I was like, well, you're a Spurs fan, so naturally people are going to expect you to pick Pop.
No, it's Pop.
And that's where it got dicey. So
Pop and Kerr would be the first two. I would not put Phil in there because Phil never drew plays for real. That was Tex Winters.
Gotcha.
Spoelstra and Riley is 1 and 1A.
Right.
So I can't say
no Riley?
No. But because here's the reason why.
Okay.
Riley's notoriety was from the Lakers.
Yeah. Because he did not have the same level of success when he was
with the Knicks.
On any part of the Knicks.
Right. But what was the reason why?
Let's
see if you know.
I'm okay. Now I know the level of player was obviously different
True.
because they had a lot of headstrong. They had a lot of headstrongers when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them. So I could see him trying to not being able to coach the way he did when he was with the Lakers. Um, just because of the mentality being different.
Mm-hmm.
So now what am I missing? Because you clearly have a different answer. But for me, the level of mentality with the Knicks was definitely different, and I could see him having a harder time. Kind of like with the way you notice Jimmy said after he went from Dallas and then he ended up with the Dolphins. And after he saw the way that played out, he said, I'm never coaching again. I'm done.
So the reason why was because Pat Riley lucked up and had a Hall of Fame center,
Okay.
a Hall of Fame point guard that can play every position,
Okay.
a Hall of Fame three that could play the two, and then he could piece together his 3 and 4 or whatever he needed to around there for that. When
And
he
they
got
had
to
some
New
hell of
York,
a role players.
right,
They had a hell of a role players and everybody was on the same page.
right. But when he got to New York, he had Patrick Ewing and then a whole bunch of role players.
A whole bunch of role players and a lot of them was headstrong. Cause
Exactly.
cause grandmama ended up over there. Didn't Xavier end up over there?
Xavier McDaniel was there for a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
He had
yeah.
Charles Oakley.
Charles
He had
Oakley.
John. He had John Starks. He had
There
Mark Jackson.
there was too much. Just the three names that we named before we started going to the other people. There was too much headstrongness going on there. It was
Right.
like, mm-mm.
Right.
So
So
I could see him having some difficulty. And they were talented players. That don't let me don't mistake the fact that I felt like the mentality of the team kind of held them back from where they truly could have been. Do not misunderstand.
no.
Xavier, Oakley, they were all talented, but
Yeah, they were
they were
all very talented.
headstrong as hell.
It just was the simple fact when it came down to it. His biggest thing, everybody had to understand something. If you took away Magic and Kareem from them squads, would he have won championships with the Lakers?
Probably not as many.
No.
I'll give him one at best, maybe.
Right. And even with that, you got to think about how many times did they go up against Boston with that squad and lose.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. I was looking up because I saw this post that said, who was the NBA champion when you were 7? And I kept mistakenly picking the wrong years. And all I kept hearing was LA Lakers, Boston, LA Lakers, Boston, LA Lakers, Boston.
Yeah.
And it was always the one team beat the other one.
Yeah.
It was either Boston beating LA or LA beating Boston. So that was and I
And the
and I
one year
kept
that it wasn't that Philly jumped in there.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. He could not. The Lakers made Pat Riley. Pat Riley made himself in Miami. That
Yeah.
stopgap in between in the Knicks organization was never a good idea. It worked for a little bit, but he could never get them over the hump because he never had the two main ingredients that he had
Hmm.
with while he was in LA there. Because the versatility of Magic and the stonewall ability of Kareem made it to where he didn't have to worry about nothing. He could just tell them, he could just roll the ball out there and say, all right, everybody else get in where you fit in.
And Magic made sure that everybody fit in somewhere. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the thing. And that's why I still stand on business when I say I don't want to hear nothing. nothing past when the players that played in the 80s, past the 80s, I don't want to hear nothing about no Showtime Lakers. Shut up.
Mm-mm.
Definitely I ain't trying to hear it for any team that LeBron was on. I I will literally slap you with your Lakers jersey. No. You will
No,
not.
no.
Kobe and them, Kobe and them, there was some times when they seemed to be getting along and everything flowed but it was never as consistent as it was when Magic was there and they had everybody that they had in the 80s. That was the last true Showtime Lakers. Period.
I will, as a Lakers fan, I will sit there and say Showtime Lakers will always be one. And one of the biggest what ifs we will have in our history as Laker in Lakerland would be, what if Shaq and Kobe would have been able to get along?
Yeah.
Because Shaq and Kobe splitting up is the same feeling that Bulls fans got in '98 when Reinsdorf them broke up that squad, just because they want you had one instance where the ownership broke up the squad because they didn't want to pay everybody and they was tired of I don't know how the hell you get tired of winning championships. I've never understood that in the thing. I don't care what headaches I have to deal with. If I'm winning and I'm etching my name in history for it, as long as you ain't causing me no bodily harm or any harm to my family, or you causing me to lose more money than I'm gaining back, do what you do. But at the same instance with that, because you got to think about it. Those dynasties, that dynasty, if the Bulls would have kept that dynasty together, would Popnum dynasty would have started.
Okay. So
Because that's that.
that will always be a question. If Jordan hadn't either retired to play baseball or gotten
Oh no,
suspended,
I ain't worried about retiring to play baseball because that.
whichever story that you believe that allowed Houston to get, those questions will always be questions that we will never know the
Oh
answer
no,
to. Now, I'm all for God, if we could put that together and just to see how the teams would have played out, it would have been interesting.
yeah, because you
All
got to think about it. If the Bulls team that won in 90 that finished that 97-98 season, so I think 98 to 99 was the strike year, and then San Antonio won their first championship that year. And if that was the case, then so that was the start of the Duncan Robinson dynasty that evolved into the Duncan dynasty that was in there through the 2000s.
yeah.
So you would have to really sit there and think, how would have a fully returning 1999 Chicago Bulls team going for a four-peat went up against a David Robinson and Tim Duncan led Spurs team in '99. That's like a dream matchup. Because and that's it, that's what the rules that was back there. Could the Bulls have gotten through the Twin Towers? That's the type of stuff that I'll be thinking about, because I would have rather them lost their I would have rather them lost their championship by losing it versus them not even getting back there because ownership decided I'm gonna disintegrate the team. And then on the flip side, with the Lakers, with that Lakers run that they went on, that ego stroke. For some reason, the past couple of weeks, the same interview where Shaq and Kobe was sitting there talking, and Shaq was talking about how mad he was when Kobe got his fifth. And he was like, I got one more than Shaq in there for it. He was like, I was pissed. Everything else with it. Nate could laugh and joke about it after the fact. But to
Yeah.
me, it broke my heart because I'm sitting there thinking, had y'all egos not have gotten involved, y'all could have won 4 to 5 straight.
And Phil got to take something on the chin too for this
Oh
part.
yeah, yeah.
And the reason why I say that is this because I read his book. And to me, when you have older players like Gary Payton and Karl Malone, now he had the luxury of incorporating everybody into the triangle. To
Mm-hmm.
me, in my personal opinion, I feel like he should have tried to see where they could have fit, where they could have fit, so that they understood. Try to see if you could get the triangle to acclimate to how they play. I know it would have been different and it would have been difficult, but for me, one, you wouldn't have had Gary Payton mentally check out because you benched him after promising him that he would be a starter, but since
But
he couldn't really acclimate to the triangle, you
and
sat him
he
down.
and he couldn't score. Gary Payton wasn't a scorer by then. He still was the glove defensively, but he couldn't score.
Right.
The premise of the triangle that a lot of people don't realize is that the triangle can't work if your one can't get some type of points. Fisher could get points. Paxson and Kirk could get points.
But it
Hodges
was
could get points.
yeah, it was all about getting to the right place. But Gary Payton was so old, he was used to being the point.
Right. And that's and
And and
that's
and and that's why that's why it didn't work. So the question was, before even pulling him over there, you should have been trying to figure out, hey, can I can him in the triangle work? And Phil Jackson has a mind. Obviously, his defense is definitely why you want him over there, but at the same time, you hear him saying, "I don't pull me over there if I'm not going to be the starter."
yeah.
So you should have been thinking about that. Like, wait a minute, because he was never really he was a person that could score on you, but he was mostly known for his defense. That's why his nickname was the Glove.
Right.
He was
And
mostly known for his defense.
and that's what pissed me off when it happened because when they brought them in there, like I said, I always have my disclaimer that I'm a realist fan.
Right.
I will take a look at my team and be like, we ain't winning nothing. And people be like, oh, you ain't a fan. No, I'm being a realist. The
And then
Bengals have made me into that type of thing.
and then Carl Malone, he
You
known for
can't
the
have
pick.
two people. You can't have two people in the post on the triangle. You
You
can't.
he known for the pick and roll.
Right.
Will unless you knew of a way to make the pick and roll work within the triangle, Carl Malone was a bad move too.
Right.
And
Because who you gonna have picking for him? You didn't have Ori.
no,
You're gonna have Shaq picking for Malone. Shaq is thinking that lob was supposed to be going to him,
right.
and vice
And
versa. So it,
and
it was it was never
so
gonna work.
so right. So and that's where my mind went. Like what were they best at? And maybe somebody else could have brought both of them over and made over to their team and made them work, especially with Gary wanting to be the point. I'm sure that it would have been an adjustment, but I'm sure you could have got Gary to work some pick and roll,
You ain't got
especially with Carl Malone, and he's still
right.
running point, and he's still the starter.
Any other team that would have worked with, and I would have been fine with trying to shoehorn that into the Lakers during that time frame. I was like, if they win, I'm happy that Carl and them finally got a ring.
Right. And Gary ended up getting a ring,
Ring,
but he ended up being on the bench with the Heat.
right? But he got his ring, and that's
Right.
all that matters. He can sit there and say he got one more than Carl Malone.
and Zoe, same thing. Especially with the way his health went, I was so happy when he got a ring.
Oh yeah, I was happy for Zoe getting a ring. I was happy. I was happy for Zoe, and I was happy for Jason Williams getting a ring
Yeah.
because Jason Williams, and even like I was following, it was funny how he kept on popping up because his daughter plays for Texas Tech, and they was in the college the women's college World Series and they was in the final before they got swept out by Texas. Jason Williams was my reason besides Kobe of watching basketball. And that's why whenever the Kings played the Lakers, I would stop what I was doing in order to make sure I watched that game. Because Jason Williams always did stuff that I was sitting up there like, he's doing N1 street ball. I love it. And would sit there and be killing them.
Yeah.
Sidebar. Because
What's
we
up?
are in. Sidebar. You know the new updated version of NBA Street come out tonight, right?
I did not know that.
Look up NBA The Run. And it's on all platforms. It's a $40 game. And when you look at it, Stretching Bobbito is on there for it. It is basically the grown up, the extended version of NBA Street. I played a game or two of the beta a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah. All those old school PlayStation 2 feels came out instantly, like, oh my God. Throwing it off the backboard and catching it. It is a great it is a great ode to it, and they kept it to where, and I think you can play it individually, but you can play online with it. And the crazy part about it is that they have a wheel to where the rules come up for the game after you select your players. So they have different game sets to where, say, like dunks is 3 points. So if you go with a whole small guard heavy lineup in there and it spins up on there, you're gonna have to acquiesce in order to do it. And then, or they have it to where threes is actually like is 3 points and every other shot, and dunks is 1. So if you got Durant out there and he can't shoot threes through well for it, then you losing out. It's all random. So that's why I'm like, I cannot wait to tonight because that's why I'm actually like trying to make sure I got set up so I can be on that later tonight instead of sleeping.
Gotcha. So what is next? Um, oh yeah. I said we was gonna do a few. We're gonna try to run through these a little quick. That way we could end on the NBA playoffs, and you can go ahead and get your gloating in.
I'm not
And
gloat because it's not done. I can't gloat when it's not done yet. I can sit
okay.
there and be happy about it, but
Okay. All right. I don't already found this. I got to figure out something interesting for the Ravens. So apparently, the quarterbacks coach, Tom Arthur. This story is off of the Pittsburgh Steelers website. He says he sees Howard and Ayler bringing out the best in each other. This was from March 27th. Uh, Brian Batko, contributing writer, editor for the Steelers. He had it on X. Says Steelers quarterbacks coach Tom Arth has a unique perspective on the position group, even beyond uh, being the position coach. He came up through head coach Mike McCarthy's quarterback school as a player in his final NFL stint. Arth experienced that alongside Aaron Rodgers, who was drafted out of California a couple of years after Arth went undrafted. out of John Carroll. But with his coaching hat on, Arth already has worked with Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard. While he's getting his first hands on look at the third round pick, Drew Aller, he recruited Aller and Howard out of high school when he was the head coach of Akron. So
Hmm.
in that sense, Arth is the perfect set of eyes to navigate the new school QB school under the tutelage of Mike McCarthy, as well as offensive coordinator Brian. Oh my God, Brian Ange, Angelicio, Angelicio.
Hmm.
Uh, Howard and Alar appear to be taken to it well so far. I I think it's really good. I think it's really positive to have two young guys together. Obviously, there are a little bit of different stages and different players, but two guys who are going to be very competitive with one another. They get along well. They're both uh, great people, smart players, but they are ultra competitive. They wouldn't be here if they weren't. I'm very excited to see how that plays out as we get into training camp and get into preseason. Just how the two of them bring out the best in each other. Both Howard and Ayler have discussed their mutual connections and familiarity with each other. Even prior to winding up in Pittsburgh together, it becomes a pretty small world. Okay, so so here's my thing. As long as Aaron has has in fact changed and he's
Yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta be nice. Be
I knew
nice.
that was gonna come out. I knew that was
Be
gonna come out.
nice.
That's why I hesitated. Now that's why I said as long as he is truly changed and he is trying to be more of a team player, this could work out in the long haul for the Steelers because right now we don't know what either Howard or Aller are going to be.
True.
But
This is true.
but if they can pick up the good points of what Aaron does and try to incorporate it into their game, whether they remain with the Steelers or one remains with the Steelers and go somewhere else. We've seen it happen where obviously we've seen it happen where you end up in the right situation with the people that know how to bring out the best in you. Either one of these guys could turn into something good, or hell, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers will finally have their one quarterback, or since they get along so well, maybe one, even though they're competitive, whoever wins out, the other one won't mind being the backup because they get along so well. That probably won't happen, but it could happen. So because obviously weird things going on in Cincinnati with Flacco deciding to come back because he loves the place. I saw an article while I was looking for articles. But anyway, back to the Steelers. Um they're going to have to put some faith in somebody because obviously they like the Rams, they can't put their eggs in the veterans forever. They can't. They're gonna have to take some
But
chances
that's
with
their problem.
they're gonna have to take some chances with some of the younger guys and see how it plays out and set the standard and if if they if they if they're able to step up and match up, fine. If they're not, it was nice doing business with you. But we got to move on because we're trying to win championships. And I get that prior they didn't do too well when they based upon who they picked. But again, if you don't if you don't have weapons like me and you have always talked about, what was always Pittsburgh's bread and butter.
Run the ball, defense.
Yes. Run the ball, defense. You naturally know that you are not your quarterback is not going to do that well if you put everything on your quarterback. History shows it. You've never had a quarterback where the quarterback room was better than the run game. Everything was based off the run game. Same thing with the Ravens. When the Ravens were dominating, they had people like Jamal Lewis.
True. This is true.
And when they didn't and when they didn't have a Jamal Lewis, things didn't go that well. Remember, they were one of the teams that played around with having Lorenzo Neal and Cowboy Stadium that last game, McLean and Ray Rice both broke off in Dallas and not only hurt their playoff chances, but set negative to their defense, set records in Cowboy Stadium before they moved over to the $1 billion playpen.
Mm-hmm.
So
damn, Ray Rice played before they opened the space shuttle.
yeah.
Damn.
And the only reason I remember that was because Neil was getting passed around like a blunt because he was old. He helped out them two when he was in he was basically the reason why everybody was all over LaDainian Tomlinson. As soon as San Diego gave him up, LaDainian Tomlinson's career was quite different.
Uh-huh. When he came to the Bengals.
Yeah. And then Corey Dillon, despite everything that was going on with the offensive line, the career that Corey Dillon had was part in part if I'm not mistaken, because of Lorenzo Neal.
Yeah. Him
And
and Rudy Johnson.
yeah, him and Rudy Johnson. Yeah. So and then when the Bengals got rid of him, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all getting rid of this dude? Y'all can call him old, but he's setting your running backs up.
Money.
And well, it was money, and they kept screaming. That was during the time where if you were older, they weren't trying to pay you the money because they didn't know how much longer you were gonna last. So they would just let you go. So yeah. It was definitely age and money. But so yeah. But at the end of the day, they're gonna have to figure out something. One, they're going to have to get back to being run first. I get that the rules are making it where you could be pass friendly. I'm not saying go out and get you some type of trash dude, but at the same time, do what you always won championships when you had run game. Even when you had the great Ben, who did you have? You had Jerome Bettis, and eventually you had Willie Parker. And when you didn't have them
Oh no,
dudes,
you skipped over somebody.
who?
What was his name? Ended up quitting, wanted more money, left and went to do Jets.
No, that was after them too.
Ben was still there though.
Yeah, Ben was still there, but they didn't really.
They didn't do anything with it that when they had those killer bees. Le'Veon Bell. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
yeah. I will commend the dude. The man could take a hit and hold on to the ball. I still say they should have won that game. I'm sorry, if you get hit, you get knocked out, helmet come off, but you land on the line and you still holding on to the ball. I'm sorry, no, you're
yeah,
not
that's
gonna
true.
tell me that they lost that game. You kiss
That
my
was
ass.
a movie scene.
That was some BS. It's like I'm not a Steelers fan, but that was some BS. Like, nah, bruh.
Yeah,
He
I'll give
he
you that one.
he landed on the line, got his helmet knocked off, was knocked out, and yet still laid there on the line with the ball. And you go say because his helmet came off, that the
The play was
touchdown didn't
dead.
count. Like, no, 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 no.
Play
No.
was dead when his helmet flew off. Like, what the hell? Since when
No.
that happened?
No, no, you get that man that touchdown, you get him that win and call it a day is what you do. But anyway, so yeah. They
I
gonna
think
need to figure out something. They're gonna have to they're going to have to acquiesce to the younger level of quarterbacks because you're gonna need somebody for the long haul so that you can have somebody like the other guys have, like the Josh Allens, the Lamars, the Patrick
But
Mahomes.
it's just they've not. I don't know. The league is better when Pittsburgh is relevant, but at the same time, the AFC North has one team that's willing to just go ahead and do what they need to do or try to evolve all the time. And that's mainly because they've moved into they're relatively a new team when you call Baltimore.
Hmm.
But everybody else is still so stoic in their old ways of thinking, as including the Bengals as well, to where I hear you saying that with Pittsburgh, but I can almost guarantee you if a quarterback comes out via free agency that was a good backup or something else like that, they'll probably go pick him up. And they won't unless they get a top 10 quarterback, a top 10 pick and get a quarterback in that way, they're not going to hand over the reins. They're going to keep on trying to nickel and dime it in order to get it done. That's why the Will Howard draft pick didn't make sense to me if you weren't going to try to develop him behind
Aaron.
Aaron. And that, but you drafted him before you even
Well,
got Aaron.
and what ended up happening when he got there, they were like, okay, this is going to be more work than
But
we had
that's
anticipated. And
but
like you
that
said,
comes down
and
to
they were still even trying to get Aaron, and that would have been even more reason to be like, Aaron, we need to know what you're doing because we got this young guy here, and not only do we need you for the fact that we so that you could get into OTAs and everybody can get the chemistry that is needed so that we can have a great season. We also need you to kind of look this guy over and let us know um and let us know what you think so that we know what we're doing going into next year. Like it could he be get to know him. Could he be it, or did we make a mistake and we need to move on next year and figure out what we're going to do with him? It, that
I
that's
just can't.
that's another reason
It
why he
just
should have been that's another reason why Aaron should have been there.
right, but that's the whole that goes into what I'm saying. You mess up your future and you don't develop for your future, holding out for somebody in the past to rekindle what they did in the past.
Yeah.
You can't survive with that because every year that you do that, your defense is getting older. TJ Watt's getting older. Hayward's getting older. You can't sit there and keep on hedging your bet on, okay, this person is in there. Will Howard, nothing. I give you everything in the world. Nothing in his film showed that he was a round one, round two quarterback. The only reason why he was a round one, round two quarterback was he led Ohio State to a national championship. That's it. And anybody, we've seen it. Anybody could sit there, do a three-step drop, and throw it to the bevy of receivers that he had and the running back that he had and let it run.
I
At Ohio State,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
everywhere
yeah,
else.
yeah, yeah. We
Because think
gotta,
about it.
we,
Because
we,
didn't we have this conversation before where we was like, let's look at the past quarterbacks from Ohio State and what they're doing?
yeah.
And none of them are really doing anything in the league.
No, and Tyrod Taylor is a journeyman. He might show some glimpses for like a game or two at best, but you're not going to get him to do anything for you for a whole season. I'm not sure why that is. But according to
Because they are and I'm not being funny when I say this. There are programs that build the quarterback and there's programs that build the scheme for the quarterback.
Okay.
Ohio State's scheme, their wide receivers will get drafted high. Their running backs, if they are productive in that pass first scheme, will get drafted high. Their
Okay.
tight ends normally get drafted high. Their offensive linemen get drafted high. But their quarterbacks, no. Realistically, the best quarterback that come through Ohio State left Ohio State and became a became a Heisman Trophy winner, and that was Burrow. And the only reason why, realistically, the only reason why I think Burrow hit that switch like that was because he looked at what was ahead of him at Ohio State and sat there and was like, y'all keep on keeping me on the bench for this, I'm gonna show you. And he just so happened to stumble across the second best offense ever made in LSU during that year. So
Okay.
it's not. That's why it's like, nah, I can't really. I want to see Pittsburgh do better, just because I would rather have them as the competition than Cleveland. But in the same instance, I see them gumming this up, and I would have felt differently if they would have got a younger head coach instead of Mike McCarthy. If they would have got a younger coach with a different mind state in there for it, I would have been like, all right, cool. McCarthy, you got to think about it. McCarthy realistically has only coached 4 quarterbacks in his entire career. That's it. So he's not going to develop. He's in the mentality of my starting quarterback. I got my backup 2 to 3 years in the hole before he takes over for him, because that's the whole process that Green Bay had already set up beforehand. And then when he stumbled upon Dallas, Dallas already had Dak. So I don't see them digging out of that. I hope Howard proves me wrong. I hope either one of them can prove me wrong. But Mason Rudolph has had opportunities to be able to be the starter, and he's wet the
Okay.
bed.
Okay. So, real quick, I'm gonna try to run through this. More on basically, I found something that basically talked about the winners and the losers of the Garrett trade. Let's see here. This was written on June
Uh,
1st by
the
Nick
winner was
Shook.
the winner was everybody. The winner was the AFC North. The winner was Joe. Hey, let's call space spade. The winner was Joe Burrow and the Bengals offensive line. Because where they have had chances and they've had better dealings with TJ Watt,
Yeah.
they don't have this. Think about it from this standpoint for the Bengals. You got out of having to deal with Max Crosby twice a year. Beginning of the season, we went from, oh my God, the Bengals got to deal with Max Crosby, TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett 6 out of the 16 games that they play. Oh, they might go 0-6 in there. They just let them tee off. To where, the Bengals got to go up against Trey Hendrickson and TJ Watt.
Okay. So, uh, I'm gonna forego all of the paragraph minutiae, but no offense, Nick Shook, but um gotta move it along a little bit. So one of the winners was Chris Shula of the Rams. The Rams' heartbreaking defeat in the NFC Championship was largely pinned on the defensive failures exhibited in the 31-27 loss to Seattle. The main culprit was the Rams secondary, a, a position group Snead upgraded aggressively via trade for corner Trent Duffy, and the addition of McDuffie's fellow former Chiefs corner Jalen Watson. That alone would have been enough to satisfy the Rams fans. Monday's trade, however, no doubt pushed the optimism over the edge. Let's see here. Who was another winner? Winner number two was Myles Garrett. Over the last 2 years, Garrett wasn't bashful about how the Browns' frequent losses drained him. Nothing is quite as rejuvenating as an ocean breeze, sunshine, and a legitimate chance to win a ring. All right. So who's number three? Andrew Berry, the GM. Berry stayed on the job despite Kevin Stefanski's departure in January, with the GM figuratively clinging to his productive 2025 draft class like a life raft floating on an angry sea. Berry followed that with another promising draft in 2026, no doubt buying himself more optimism that likely increased with Monday's deal. So, all right. Losers. Jared Verse. Cleveland Browns as a Northeast Ohio native, former Los Angeles resident, current occupant of Cleveland. I feel like I'm qualified to make this statement. It's going to be tough for Verse to trade the sunny skies of LA for the forest city, and the adjustment will be about more than the weather. Sure, the Florida State product hasn't seen winter in a while, but he should be accustomed to it, having been born in Dayton, Ohio, before playing high school ball in Pennsylvania. Perhaps harder to handle will be the Browns' um, competitive timeline. Mm,
Nobody won in that trade. When I really to sit back and think about it, nobody won in that trade because here's why. Myles Garrett got traded to the Rams, and if he doesn't produce to Aaron Donald numbers, it's going to be, oh, well, Aaron did it better. Or are you trying to be the next Aaron?
hmm. Here's the thing. He shouldn't be trying to be the next Aaron. He should just be being him.
You're right. No, I'm not saying no, I'm not saying that from his standpoint. I'm saying around that whole fervor that is what we call the LA media.
Yeah.
And that's
No,
what and that's where if that gets to a point to where Cleveland's media is different than LA's media.
yeah.
So it's if they don't win a chip with this move, it's gonna be, well, why did you mortgage the future with Verse to bring
Uh,
Garrett in?
uh-huh.
So
No.
that's where that rub is going to end up being, to where it's going to become a problem, and to where they have to win. They have to win a championship in LA this year. They don't
Yeah.
win a championship in LA this year, or the other part. They don't make it, because it's not a guarantee that they make it back to LA to play for a Super Bowl in their home stadium.
Yeah.
So they don't make it back, there's going to be the questions in there. The Browns don't win because it's the Browns. Do they win in anything? No. The only thing the Browns won in is their new stadium. And the fact of the matter of that new stadium going up there, this has to be one of the biggest taxpayer head scratchers I've ever had in my life, because you're legitimately paying a team to play in a stadium they're building a stadium to get a Super Bowl. That's it. That's their win, to get the Super Bowl. And nobody's ever thought of what in the hell is there to do in Cleveland besides the Super Bowl in February. And you better hope it don't snow.
Say it. Say it.
I mean, Nashville is something different. Nashville's the whole nother animal. When they
Right.
got that, I might go down there for that one. That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I got a friend down there. I haven't talked to him in a while. I need to reach out, see if I go down there. I was told that that's a good vacation. Go to clear your head spot.
Yeah, but
Um,
but Cleveland with a Super Bowl? Mm, I don't know. So and then, like I said, the winners was everybody outside of there, because the North, we ain't got to deal with Myles Garrett now. except for when he comes around in rotation.
Right.
And everybody else in the AFC is we don't have to have him chasing us around except for like maybe 6 games out of the season. It's only certain ones that gotta deal with that shit.
Yep.
That's
And
it.
you just kind of sit back and laugh at them like, uh-huh.
You gotta deal with him. Nelson voice dog.
All right. Okay. So I'm sorry. Nobody from the Bengals should be speaking on Miles Garrett. I'm looking at the story. It
No.
says quick hits, a few good minutes with Jamar Chase, soul searching with the Bengals, tight end Eric All Jr. Um,
Oh, is he
quote
back?
quote. I feel like my old self.
Okay, so
Let's
Alt coming off of being injured, which is good.
So, and I actually met him one time. I went to the Funny Bone, and he just happened to be there. So, took a quick picture with him.
Every day is a new day. You never know what can happen. Who's in the league reaction? Saw that Miles traded. I mean, he's a tremendous player. He's obviously been difficult for us over the years. They added another tremendous player, so that's about all I got.
That's about all I got. That's all you're getting.
Yeah, it's challenging, to have the significance of the injuries that he's had, to miss a whole season, an extra season, really, half the first one and then the whole second one. So I know it's been challenging for him.
Oh, that's right. He didn't play all
he's
last
handled
season.
it really well. Now we're just Now we're in the progression phase, getting back on the field, no contact or anything right now. Will says training camps will get closer, but it's just been really good to get him on the field, have him back in the walkthroughs. I think mentally for him, that's probably been really helpful for him, just not sitting over there doing the rehab phase of things. But he's got an attitude that you just love, and he loves football. That's very clear. He's very passionate about it. So to be able to get him back out there working with the guys has been big for all of us.
How was this time?
Well, it just sets the tone, when those guys are in the building working together. It shows, what we're capable of. There's still a lot of work we got to do, and there's still a lot of ways we got to grow as a team and as an offense.
Yeah.
But when you have those guys out there, you feel their impact and you get to see it firsthand. And maybe gives everyone a little pep in the step, as a team. Hey, we got some real playmakers here that can do some exciting things for us. Yes, I mean that's pretty clear. It's the stats can change every year because of how we play games as a team and what the outcomes are. And you'd love to have a great team that has control of a game and is just closing it out on the ground, and that'll impact some stats. And that's a great thing for us if it goes that way. So we'll just keep working. We love the identity that we have. We're building that identity as a team right now, and there's still a lot of steps left for us to be able to do that before we play the season. Passes. I don't know. He's always working. He's a guy that even when he wasn't here in the building is grinding. That, trust that. Then when he steps his foot on the field yesterday for the first time, it's I don't know if he feels differently from when he left to here, but it looks the same to us, and there's just such an explosion there and confidence. And so he looks really good at it. I mean, he gets as many targets as him in the league. So to maximize, we've I would say Pitch does a really good job of staying on top of ways to be creative with him and make sure he's maybe harder to find sometimes. There's times you don't want to let people off the hook. You want to put them outside and you're going to leave them one-on-one. That's tough. But also ways that we continue to build him inside him. He had a ton of targets in the spot last year. We've used him at the backfield. So I think we've been very creative. We'll always try to find ways to utilize him in different ways. To say to utilize him more is a challenge because he's triple crown winner 2 years ago. So we've obviously found ways to put him involved.
A couple of the guys today mentioned that the energy has been a bit of a difference, and you spoke to the leaders coming back and being a part of this. is there anything that you're noticing that adds to the energy shift, or does it feel about the same?
There is an excitement level, not just within our team, within the community, within the fan base. You feel that when you're out and about. Our players feel that in the building. It's hard to compare that to years past because every year is just so different. But right now, there's a lot of excitement in the locker room. The energy level is exceptionally high.
All right, I'm gonna stop it there because this is about a 14-minute thing, and we got to be ending soon. So,
Yes, but
what's up?
I hate the coach speak weekly press conference where everything is pretty much the company line when it comes to answers.
Okay.
If you're not excited about the upcoming season before training camp, you shouldn't be playing football. That should be a natural given. If players are chomping at the bit to come back after being injured, they should be. They've been injured. In Alt's case, he missed the entire season last year. Of course, should be ready to go. Everybody should have different things to where they could be better than what they were supposed to be doing. And that's why it's like, what in the world is going on when it comes to that? Why does it have to be some type of issue with it all the time? So the heck? Okay, sorry. But yeah, that's why it's like, what the heck? When it comes to those different things, it's not. Stop. Just don't have the press conference. Just sit there and be like, hey, all right, ask me some straight yes or no questions. I know they have to do it. It's just like, just ask me some straight yes or no questions. Or how do you feel, or what are you looking forward to? You're not going to get a straightforward answer. It is literally a shit show for them to start the season off with. I would rather hear from the players doing what they doing to get ready for the season than deal with that shit.
I'm
So,
sorry.
no, you won't.
The one thing that I don't like about it is the questioning, because it's like you sit there and it's like everybody else asking basically the same question. You're just wording
Yeah.
it, and it's like, okay, why? It's like, why isn't? I feel like the questions need to be. There should be a lot less questions being asked. That way you just keep it simple. Like, all right, everybody get one question. You better make it good. And because I swear to God, if I'm sitting in here and I'm answering the same question from a different person for an hour, no, I'm not gonna answer the same question from different people that worded it different, but you're asking the same question as the previous five people. No.
But and that's where you have to be in the instance of in media to if you got your list of questions that you're gonna ask, if somebody asks that question, scratch it off your pad. Scratch it off your pad. Think of something else while you're listening in.
Even if, because I've seen this happen, you wanted to ask that question, but you notice when the other person asked the question,
Be
the
like, oh,
answer that was given was vague. So you
follow.
think, so you think, oh well, he gonna answer it for me. Like, no, stop, no, no,
No, no, he's gonna sit
no,
and be
he's
like,
not.
I just said that
Right.
it was a split. And it's like,
Yeah,
why would you even sit there and set yourself up for that failure? It never fails. You set yourself up for that failure right then and there.
yeah. And it's so funny because it's like you sit there and you listen to questions. I'm like, do y'all know y'all literally just sat there and about five of y'all just asked the same question? if he's being vague, just take the answer for what it was and leave it at that, and move on, and figure out something else to ask about. I don't care if one of y'all decide, like, you know what, I'm gonna throw him a curveball. How you kids doing today? Just that's gonna make everybody laugh. They're gonna look at you like you stupid, but it's gonna lighten the mood. And guess what? It's not the same question as the previous four people just asked.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know, I mean, a lot of times, and I've said it right here on the show when we're sitting up here and we're listening to this, and it's like, you'll hear me, I have a little irritation in my voice. I'm like, why was everybody asking the same damn question? What are we doing? You know, obviously, I'm not up there. I've obviously done certain things that I am not proud of. Like, you remember, Blue Collar Comedy Tour guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, he had a thing about Ron had a thing about people walking up to him, telling him who he was. I'm running through downtown trying to get to the bus. He was supposed to have been at the Taft later on that week. He comes walking out of the West End with his dog. Caught me off guard. I stopped running. I see him, and the first thing I said was, "You're Ron." He's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be at the Taft on Friday. You should come down." I took 2 steps after that conversation and went, "No, I was that dude. I was that dude that told him who he was."
Hey,
No.
like, hey. Oh, yeah. When it happens, you sit there, you be like, God darn it.
Right. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get to it. My Spurs are down 2-0. They're gonna have to build on the fact that they barely lost that game. Game
So
two.
you haven't watched game two?
I haven't watched game two. I don't think that they put it on Peacock, so I don't think I'm
No,
gonna.
it's not on Peacock. It's on ESP. It will be on ESPN Plus because ABC's got it. So it might be
Yeah,
on Hulu. It might be on Hulu. It might be on ESPN Plus. One of the two.
I'll try to
Um,
check. I'll try to check my Hulu and see if there might be a replay there.
okay,
Um,
so recapping game two.
okay. Yeah, because game one was everything I said that they should not do, and that's exactly what they did.
Yep. And game two was them rectifying everything that you said that they should do, but they didn't do in game one, but they came back and did it in game two. But they couldn't close the door. And the youth, remember what I said last week?
Yeah.
The youth bit them in the ass in that last part of that game. Because if you look at that last sequence, the last
Uh-huh.
sequence of that game, when I think Brunson missed, I want to say Brunson missed the free throw. No, it wasn't that. It was before then. Something happened, and Wemby got the rebound. And Wemby, before he could even try to Wemby's trying to he was so disjointed and so he as much as he plays in the flow of the game in certain instances, this is the one time to where his excitement or his youthfulness got in the way for it. Because he threw the ball and he didn't tell what's we call it that the ball was coming. He didn't tell Castle that the ball was coming. He didn't whistle. He just threw the
It
ball
it
up
that
ahead.
and I talked about that. That was one of the things that they cannot do. They always try to do this anticipation passing, and they aren't built like that.
No, they're
That
not yet. Not I won't say I won't say they're not built like that. Once they get comfortable with knowing this is their first, that's why I said they're ahead of schedule. This is their first year for real year playing this way with this squad to
and,
where
and
to where once they get through this season, they get through the all season for it. They ain't got no Olympic break or anything else with it. I think there might be a FIBA break. I'm not for sure, but
yeah,
even with that, they'll be able to get comfortable with the anticipation passes. Them doing that right now, no. him trying to get it to Castle instead of getting it to De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox not trying to come to the ball to get it from him during that time frame
Yep.
before it made it to where I was like, oh my God. Because I'm in the car I got it playing over the car, and when they said he threw it out of bounds, or he threw it and it hit Castle in the back, and Brunson got it, and then he immediately fouled. I'm like, oh my God, because I thought for sure it was about to be 1-1.
Right. And it's that it's that part of it. That's why I went into detail. The specific things that they do that hold them back, that kept teams in games. Is like you can't do that against the Knicks.
No,
Just like they fixed it for the most part. That's why they always ended up winning because that's why they made it this far. They figured out what the mistakes were and they got better at curbing them enough so that they could win the game.
right,
Problem is it's like they have Alzheimer's. They keep having to relearn this over and over and over instead of knowing it and going, okay, we got it down to 30% last time. That's why we made it past them. Now we need to get it lower to 30%. They go back to, okay, this is what we are 60% of the time. You can't not do that against every team you play. This is part of the reason why they're down 2-0. This is part of the reason why they sit up there and get a lead and they can't keep it. I don't know if they head get too big. I feel like the way Wendy plays kind of gets sped up. I don't know if that's if he goes into panic mode to where
no,
or what it is. It's something because he gets sped up and then all of a sudden the talent that you know he has, he starts not showing it as much. He starts making decisions that, like you said, it shows the rookie in him. Something it shows the rookie in him. Same thing with Castle, same thing with Vassell. Plus, like I said, size wise, height wise, I know that they can get rebounds. But the problem is if you spending so much time shooting threes, and it's most of the time when there's less of people in your color jersey down low, it's going to be hard enough for Castle and Vassell, especially if they're the ones that's down low, especially now that y'all are playing the Knicks and y'all got and they have big bodies that know how to be down low because not all of them are cat and it's always going to be out on the perimeter.
right.
And
Now,
that's why Wemby has to spend a lot more time down low, making better decisions, doing better with the blockouts, and giving you can't just like you couldn't give the Thunder a lot of chances to score. You definitely cannot give the Knicks a lot of chance to score. If you do this, you're gonna lose.
now, I pointed out two things last week that came to fruition completely throughout this whole time frame.
Okay.
First one, I told you, if Cat can bring Wemby out to the top of the key because he's hitting threes, Wemby cannot handle him going downhill. And Cat has been eating him alive when he's been coming to the top of the key or coming to the top of the elbow and then been turning around and been blitzing straight down the lane, getting dunks. When he did the one where he went baseline, he dunked over him and yelled at him. That took Wemby's soul because Wemby sat there and thought for a fact, oh, I got a block. And he was like, nah. He sat there and dunked on him and yelled at him. Wemby has to Wemby's going to have to put on some weight.
Yeah.
And
Which
then
we've
two,
been saying that. Yeah.
and two, Wemby has got to learn he hit the alien part. And this goes into the other part that you mentioned with the I won't say it's youth, it's awkwardness. Because some of the passes that he's trying to throw, it's a difference when you're a 6'2" to 6'4" guard throwing that pass and you're a 7'6" trying to throw it at a downward angle because of your height. And you got the ball over your head and everything for trajectories, for any type of placements for the ball. It's a totally different setup when you're that tall than when you're normal height or even a little bit above normal height. Some of his passes that he was throwing, he's leaving his feet. You got to think about it. This is the person that can reach up and touch the rim. He's leaving his feet to throw passes. That angle, any type of, there was a couple of passes with his turnovers in game 2.
Mhm.
There was a few of them in game 1. To where if you're not paying no attention and you're turning to look at Wemby throwing a pass out of the air, what's the first thing that's going to hit your eyes? The lights. You have to, he has, and when you say he's gotten sped up, there's a difference between being able to dribble, gather, dunk in 3 steps from the 3-point line to the rim, than to dribble, try to spin move, try to hezzy or anything else, going downhill at full speed, and you are a lengthier person than anybody else.
And that's what has killed him, trying to go to the hole, and he is up doing that against somebody that has some size and that will actually try to try to defend him head up. And that's what you've seen in the series against Minnesota. You saw it more against the Thunder, and now yeah, you're going to see it against the Knicks. And he has to understand that spacing, that you have to get the right amount of spacing to do a lot of that stuff that you're trying to do, because every team that you play, basically playing in the playoffs, it's like literally it's like you playing a video game. Every time you go to the next game, you're going up another level. Now, and that's why when we were having that going back and forth, I always tried to make sure to say I'm not trying to say, when I was trying to question the level of who the Knicks played, I'm not trying to diminish their talent. I'm just going,
Right.
hey, let's calm down. It's not like they were playing anybody that they should have lost to.
True.
Like they didn't play not one soul that they should have lost to. And um and that was, even if that whole thing with Maxey getting knocked into Embiid's leg, and that basically rendered him null and void, I still would have expected the Knicks to beat them in 6.
Yeah.
It,
My whole argument when we were saying that was that I get what you're saying by who did they beat, or you're saying let's get ahead of ourselves because of who they played in there for it. My only rebuttal that I had to that was that where a lot of teams get into that mode and they play around with it, they didn't play. It was you in front of us, we taking you out so we can rest and get ready to go. And that's what I think is biting San Antonio right now. I expect San Antonio to come out and really, this is going to be the game that's going to make or break the series.
yeah.
Because, like I told you, there's a difference between playing in San Antonio in games 1 and 2, and they needed to win one of those games there. They did.
They did.
Now you're going into, they just had Cardi B performing in pregame. The nosebleed seats for that game was going for $5,000. There is 4 square blocks around Madison Square Garden that is blocked off. They are having parties where they're showing the game in each of the boroughs.
Another thing,
Mm.
Johnson needs to do a better job.
Yes.
If if De'Aaron ain't it, De'Aaron ain't it. That's another thing that hurt them in the other series too, was him.
But De'Aaron, but this is that De'Aaron. We'll talk about De'Aaron next week because I want to talk about De'Aaron because I could have swore a couple of years ago when De'Aaron was lighting the beam in Sacramento, he was supposed to be the person that was supposed to be competing with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and we shouldn't be talking about Jalen Brunson in the same conversations as a Jokic or 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 SGA right now with how he's been playing in his career. I thought we were supposed to be talking about De'Aaron Fox. What happened to De'Aaron Fox to where he plummeted down to where he's pretty much a role player for San Antonio? Even though he was their number 2 scorer during the season, he's a role player. Castle's really the one.
And so is what's his name? And they were talking about that was another thing that killed them in game 1 and game 2 was that Johnson keeps wanting to acquiesce to because of his veteran, because he's a veteran and he's played in the playoffs. He keeps, even though he's pretty much been showing in the playoffs that he's been the Spurs version of James Harden.
Mm-hmm.
For some odd reason, instead of going with Harper, they keep trying to see if, like, you don't have time to keep seeing. You've seen it. You've seen what you've seen all playoffs. There's no way in the championship you're still making that mistake. That's another one of those things that I feel like, and that from what I've seen online, people feel like is part of the problem with the Spurs. It's like that, just like I said, you can depend on Harrison Barnes, but if Harrison Barnes is not pulling his weight, and
If
you got
Harrison Barnes is your best option, then you have a problem.
And well, no. What I'm gonna say is this: I get the leaning on the veteran, especially if they're scoring and they're doing what they're doing to contribute and it's working. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're depending on a veteran and it's clear that you should be doing anything but depending on that veteran, and you keep doing it, then there comes the question of, okay, in your level of coaching, what are you seeing? Because everybody else is saying, what are you doing? And you're just going, okay, I know it's not working right now, but if I have faith in him, it's going to work. And right now, you're down 2-0 because you're being kind of stubborn.
Yeah. But I think when it comes down to it now, how they handle Madison Square tonight is going to tell me if this is a series or not. If they don't, if
look at this,
what
you got. I remember when everybody was talking about the transition from TNT to ESPN, and I remember once upon a time they was bad mouthing them all because they were just being real. They were being real about the product on the court. That's it. And everybody was like, "Oh man, ESPN is making a mistake." But not from what I see.
ESPN, ESPN, ESPN called. They did the right move by keeping Inside the NBA underneath the fold, and then adding their people to interact with them and meshing their people, the people from inside the NBA, into the ESPN family, and then mesh the ones that could, because Ernie can't be on ESPN like that because he's still signed to Turner. Everybody else was a freelance contract. So that's why Chuck can cross over, but I don't think Chuck can too much. Shaq can and Kenny can with it. And that's what makes it to where they can have those conversations. Kenny Smith has built up his resume a hell of a lot this season from being on First Take, from being able to be interviewed on the shows with it across the board to where it's made it that marriage work. And they didn't handcuff inside the NBA. They let them still be them. And that was a plus when it came down to it.
That was probably the only way Charles and Shaq was gonna sign. It's
Right.
like,
Right. That's the only way they was gonna come over.
like I'm sorry,
But
I gotta do what? No, I'm gonna be me. Or
but
I ain't gonna be
ESPN
there.
needs that. And I
Right.
think that it's making the edge that you're hearing on their other shows come out a little bit more. Because they're not being so guarded with it. They're like, let's go. Even if it does alienate people. But like I said, Spurs have to win tonight.
Yes, no question. They have to. Matter of fact, to me, they have to win the next 2 games.
I won't say 2.
No, they have to win the next 2 because you have to do something to put some doubt back into everybody's head. So unfortunately, they have to win the next 2.
Okay, so the only reason why I'm saying they have to win this one, they have to win this game, is because the track record for what the Knicks have done this playoffs, if they smell blood and they only 1 game away, they empty the salvo.
Yeah.
And that's going to make it to where game four, if game 4 becomes a coronation in New York City,
Yeah.
you got to at least win 1 to send it back to San Antonio.
And for me, you need to put some fair God in them. Like, hold on, y'all ain't got this yet.
Right.
And
this cannot be a close game victory by San Antonio. They gotta make a statement.
And that's why I said that they got to win both of them. Whether they win them close or whether they win them close or whatever. Bottom line, they have to win the next 2 games. Period. Because that's going to be the only thing. Number one, that's going to be the only thing that's going to help them get their confidence back, that they even have a shot in hell of winning the championship.
Yeah, because they already you got already win 4 out of 5.
Right.
And it's if they don't, because the way that I would have been, with any other team, I would have said New York can win this one. San Antonio can win game 4, gentlemen sweep game 5 in San Antonio, because they improved. They can beat San Antonio there. Right. I'm saying that they have to win this one, because if they win this one, it stops the momentum for New York. It stops them in there to where if they lose a close game in game 4 and they down 3-1, you still got 2 of the games in San Antonio. One of them you can play up to it in those things. You're going to have to dig in deep. You get blown out in this game, you might as well just sit there and just call it a coordination. They cannot let the emotions, they cannot let the crowd, they got to see here, and the other part about it is that they can't take their foot off the gas. They came out blitzing in game 2 and then took their foot off the gas.
With mistakes. They do the same thing every single time. And that's why I was pointing out those mistakes so bad, because that was the only reason that a lot of the game that the stuff that the games with the Thunder went as long as they did. It's the only reason the series before that, because they would sit up there, they would have their foot on the gas, and then all of a sudden they start, oh, well, our legs tired, so we're gonna only shoot threes. Oh, everybody on the perimeter, the middle is wide open. Somebody pass it to somebody on the perimeter so that they could shoot a 3 instead of somebody going to the hole. Because by the time anybody else get there, you already gonna be there. And we already know that people like Bryant, I got my eye on, and he better not do anything stupid like he did in that Thunder in that Thunder series. He did some after that. He did improve his game. He started taking people off the dribble to the rack and dunking in their face, and now I was like, okay, now you kind of back in my good graces, but I still got my eye on you, because even your coach got his eye on you and is ready to pull you over to the side and have a conversation with you at the drop of a hat. So they have to watch their spacing and leaving. Matter of fact, they're sitting up here and they showing it right here how they are very good at leaving people open on the three. You cannot.
You can't. You
There
cannot.
and the sad part is on this play, they gave you 3 opportunities to see what they was doing, and every single time you left somebody open on the three. Just in that sequence of plays that they just showed, I got it pulled up on Hulu. You cannot do that. The Knicks are very good at hitting threes. They are not like anybody in the West that you played so far. You leave them open, they are gonna burn you all day.
All day. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, I'm looking at this. I pulled up the stats so we can wrap this up. I pulled up the stats from game 2. You had them down 9 at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
You took it from being you at home, you had them down 9 to where you were down 4 by the end of the second quarter. That's that flip right there. How do you take your foot off the gas? You scored 34 points in the first quarter and scored 18 in the second.
Yeah. And the bench is what killed them a lot against the Thunder, and they cannot. The bench
They need
cannot
their
get
bench because the Knicks bench is too deep. And you're seeing that Shamet can come off the bench, McBride can come off the bench. Who else was out there? Who else was out there for them that game?
Alvarado.
Alvarado coming off the bench and his hustle alone for it. You cannot sit there. You cannot. You know that their starting 5 is gonna do their thing, but they go 9 deep.
Right.
So you can't. They gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to do something, or it won't be Knicks in 6. It'll be New York in 4.
Yeah, sure. But once again, this is another fun episode. Dante Suave, Mr. J.
Hopefully, I'm not celebrating the championship beforehand. But that way we'll be talking about game 7. We will be. Wait a minute, hold on, I gotta make sure I'm doing this right. It's Monday, Wednesday, then they don't play until Saturday, then they don't play until Tuesday. All right, so yeah, we'll be talking about game 6.
Yeah, hopefully. But we will see, because at the end of the day, we could talk about the potential and what people need to do, and if they need to do, but if they don't do it, it is what it is. And we out.
All right, have a good one, y'all.